1. The loneliness that creeps in even when you're not alone. Aging brings a quiet kind of loneliness that many are too ashamed or too proud to speak of. It doesn't come suddenly, like a storm. It arrives slowly, subtly, with every phone call that doesn't come, every friend who moves away, every family gathering you once hosted but now only attend, watching from the edges. Even if you're surrounded by people, nurses, caregivers, or family members, you can feel utterly invisible. It is a loneliness not of isolation, but of relevance. Your children, now grown, have lives of their own. Your stories, once welcomed and admired, are now heard with polite smiles and distracted eyes. There is pain in being the memory keeper when no one is asking to remember. But this truth, as hard as it is, also presents a hidden blessing, the opportunity to befriend yourself. In these long hours, when silence fills the room, you begin to uncover parts of your soul that were buried beneath years of responsibility. You remember dreams you set aside. You rediscover your faith, your patience, your resilience. The loneliness teaches you that you can be whole on your own even if it's not the path you would have chosen. 2. The body becomes a stranger. There comes a point where the body you've lived in for 60, 70, or 80 years suddenly changes its nature. Tasks that once seemed automatic, getting up from a chair, climbing stairs, tying shoelaces, now take more time, more thought, more care. You might look in the mirror and not recognize the person staring back. Skin sags, hair thins, joints ache in places you didn't know existed. This betrayal by the body can feel like a personal loss, an insult after a life of service. You fed this body, you clothed it. You made it dance, love, carry children, build homes, and weather storms, and now it forgets to cooperate. But this harsh reality also forces you to slow down. And in that slowness, something sacred can emerge. You begin to see beauty not in appearance, but in effort. In perseverance, in the grace with which you rise from a fall. In the courage it takes to keep showing up every day, with all your aches and imperfections. It is no longer about how strong your legs are, but how strong your spirit has become. 3. Friends start disappearing. The older you get, the more you realize that life is a series of goodbyes. Friends you grew up with pass away. Neighbors move to assisted living homes. Your social circle shrinks, not because you choose to let go, but because time demands it. There's a heaviness in this truth. Birthdays once filled with laughter and cake become days of quiet reflection. You stop hearing from people who once called you weekly. Your phone rings less often. But here's the other side of that sorrow. You begin to truly cherish those who remain. You call your sister more often. You forgive that old friend. You sit longer during coffee chats. And new friendships, however unlikely, can still bloom, in a book club, at a park bench. During a hospital visit, this thinning of the crowd helps you see clearly. It's not how many people you have, but how deeply you love them. And how well you let them know it. 4. Regrets become louder than triumphs. As the years go by, you may find yourself haunted by old decisions, words unsaid, love not taken, dreams not pursued. The mind, once busy with the day-to-day, now has time to revisit the past. And not all of it is pretty. You think of the job you stayed in too long, the apology you never gave, the friend you never called back, the child you didn't listen to closely enough. In youth, regrets are fleeting. In age, they echo. But there is one great mercy in this: you can still make peace. You can write that letter. You can call that person. You can forgive yourself. Aging gives you the gift of perspective. You realize that mistakes are part of being human, and even the worst of them do not define you. In accepting your regrets, you become gentler, wiser, more empathetic. And that wisdom, shared with a younger generation, becomes your redemption. 5. Society stops seeing you. Perhaps the harshest truth is how the world begins to overlook you. Cashiers speak to your caregiver instead of you. Doctors explain things to your children rather than to you. Your opinions, no matter how wise, are brushed aside as outdated. In a world obsessed with youth, growing old often feels like becoming invisible. This invisibility can breed anger, sadness, and helplessness. It can make you question your worth. After a lifetime of contributing, it stings to feel like you no longer matter, but you do, deeply. And here's the truth: society may forget, but you can choose to remember your value. You can advocate for yourself, mentor someone younger, volunteer, Speak your truth. Share your story. Be unapologetically present. Your wisdom is a gift. Your presence is a legacy. And while the world may look past you, you have the power to remind it gently or fiercely that you are still here, still learning, still loving, and still shining. 6. The mind becomes a maze. Memory, once a solid structure, begins to crack and shift with age. You may find yourself walking into rooms with no idea why. Names, dates, appointments, once recalled with ease, now float just beyond reach. It's not always dementia or Alzheimer's. Sometimes it's just the aging brain slowing down, and that can be terrifying. You start to second-guess yourself. You wonder if others notice. You hide small lapses, pretending all is well. But inside, there is grief and mourning for the sharpness that once was. Yet in that slowing down, your mind starts noticing different things: the sound of the birds, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the beauty of repetition in routine. And you begin to listen more, speak more thoughtfully, observe more deeply. Wisdom, after all, is not the speed of thought, but the depth of it. You may forget where you put your keys, but you remember the lessons life taught you when you lost something far more important: a parent, a spouse, a dream, and those lessons never leave you. So, forgive your brain for its missteps, celebrate what it still remembers. Because even a mind that forgets names can remember love. 7. You begin to fear being a burden, perhaps more than death. Older adults fear becoming a burden. You see your children juggling their own lives' work, children, mortgages, and you don't want to add to their stress. You hesitate to ask for help, even when you need it. You apologize for existing. This fear can lead to dangerous silence. You suffer in quiet when you fall, when you feel pain, when you're sad. You stop mentioning that you're lonely, afraid they'll feel guilty. But the truth is, love never considers care a burden, only fear does. You raised others, you gave everything, you matter. You deserve care, not just because of what you've done, but because of who you are. Asking for help isn't weakness, it's trust. It's allowing others the privilege to give back the love you once gave. 8. The mirror lies more each year. As time marches on, the reflection in the mirror begins to feel like someone else. You still feel 40 inside, still witty, still sharp, still vibrant, but your skin tells a different story. You find yourself startled by the image staring back, wrinkles, age spots, sagging. You wonder, when did I become old? This disconnection can chip away at self-esteem. We live in a society that values youth over character, smooth skin over kind eyes. But what the mirror shows is only one part of the story. The truth: every line is a sentence in your biography. Every scar is proof of healing. That image in the mirror is not who you are, it's only where you've been. You are not just the body you carry. You are the laughter you've shared, the tears you've wiped, the arms you've opened. So look again, look past the surface, and honor the soul within. 9. You start measuring time differently. When you're young, time stretches endlessly ahead. A year feels like forever. But as you age, time compresses. A year is a blink. You begin to measure life, not in days, but in moments: a grandchild's hug, a quiet morning, a phone call from an old friend. You begin to understand the value of now, of presence. You no longer chase someday, you cherish today. And you regret the years spent rushing, worrying, proving. But this new awareness is a gift. You make your days matter. You spend your time wisely on what feeds your soul. And you teach others the importance of slowing down, of listening, of being. 10. You realize you are still growing. Perhaps the most beautiful truth of aging is this: you are still growing. You are still becoming. Even in your 70s, 80s, 90s, you are evolving. You are not the same person you were last year. You have more patience, more gratitude, more softness, or maybe more fire, more boundaries, more clarity. Aging isn't the end of growth, it's the deepening of it. You learn new ways to forgive, new reasons to hope, new ways to love. And in doing so, you become more yourself than you've ever been. Aging is not a loss of beauty, it's a transformation into a deeper one. So keep growing, keep blooming, because even the oldest trees bear the sweetest fruit.